All right. So welcome back to week two of your 60-second documentary midterm project here. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you for through making it probably through the toughest week, which involved kind of coming up with a lot of the ideas, shooting some principal footage, mishmashing all this stuff together into some sort of form of a video, and then creating your learning journal sort of as a way to reflect on everything that you've been working on. As you can see, this week we're really going to be focusing on doing some final touch-up work on your video that you've kind of shot last week or are in the process of still kind of capturing some footage. This whole week really revolves around some of the more special, maybe you could call it advanced features that iMovie has to offer, including titles, both at the beginning and an end scene credit, as well as also adding lower thirds informational text, um, transitions, fade to black, fade to white, crossfade, things that'll take our video clips and just make it a little bit easier to understand and watch than just having it be such a hard cut from one clip to another. We'll add in some audio, some music, and adjust the sound quality on that. And then we'll kind of go through exporting the footage and posting those links. But if you already know how to do that, you can obviously skip this portion of the video moving forward. Um, it's something that the steps don't necessarily change on. So if you're comfortable with that, you can go ahead and kind of ignore that part to the video getting your final copy, final edition of your 60-second documentary formatted and out to be viewed. So why don't we get into it? Uh, Really, the goal was to create some sort of rough copy of your documentary. And in the video that I showed you, I just kind of went over the basics of iMovie of how to, take video clips that you've collected through your camera and bring them into the software, and then simply how to drag and drop them down onto your timeline, how to edit those or cut those down, and what they look like once you start taking audio up or audio down. First thing that we're going to focus in on here is adding some titles and credits to the beginning and the end. And you can do this very easily by simply going up to the top of the iMovie toolbar and clicking on titles. And this will give you a variety of different uh, title screens that you can choose from. Obviously, they're all sort of self-explanatory, and as you scroll over them with your mouse, they do show you like a live preview in the preview window. Some of them are a little bit easier to watch than others. Some of them are a little bit harder to tell what is going on. But you can simply add a titles card by clicking and dragging down to the location where you want it to start, and then obviously going in and editing the type for what you want to pop up on that card. Um, Here, I'm just going to kind of come up with a very generic title, give it sort of a secondary call out here. And up at the top, you do have some features like changing your fonts. I don't know if I like that all that much. You have the ability to change the size. And of course, you can always change the justification of each box or the color of your font. I'd urge you guys to be careful with how many of these options that you guys go and start editing, as it can be kind of difficult to make sure that everything pops up the way that you want it to. Of course, if you are going to be changing some options, you might want to watch it first before you end up saving this and formatting everything, just in an effort to make sure it makes sense or it looks the way that you want it to. As I see right here, this is a little bit larger than what I was planning, so I'm going to bring it down. I like that look a little bit better. Yeah, like that a little bit better. I can also add towards the end a credits card. And a lot of people will end up going for the scrolling credits, which is really a nice feature to add if you have a lot of people who you're trying to give credit to or a lot of locations. You can also use just a stationary credits card, title card. Towards the bottom, at the end of this list, you have some title cards that are a little bit more static and there's not that much animation that happens in it. And that's what I'm going to just kind of drag in here. We'll go ahead and put the title of the documentary. And then, this would be a nice area if you want to give a special shout out to someone who helped or helped make it, a little bit easier to do something. The date that you made it, just a nice little area to kind of put down some of that information, credits. Like that. Now, the general rule for any time you have text on the screen is you want to try to hit at least 7 seconds worth of time for it to be up there. And as you can see, when you click and drag down a title card, it defaults to being 4 seconds. So to make this a little bit longer, you can just click on one of the end caps and drag out to your desired time frame that you would like it to go to. Here, I'm going to drag it out to being 7 seconds. And of course, if I had any other time cards, like in the beginning, if I wanted this to be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, I could go ahead and click and drag that to the time frame that I think fits my documentary. Now, I did say earlier that I was going to show you guys like lower thirds. Lower thirds are really nice, especially for documentary style videos, because it lends a little bit more credibility to the people who are talking or to the expertise of those people. And in this case, I would like the title card to actually be overlapping or showing when my video shows up. So here I can just simply drag and drop the title card on, and you can see that it just gives me an area here to type out, their names or titles, and it just adds a little bit more professionalism to your documentary and adding a little bit more credence to what they're having to say. And of course, because it's a title card, you have the ability here to change font, size, justification, and color as well, like you could in the other title cards. Now, our next setup here is going to be to add a few transitions. And transitions are just little effects that help make the change from one camera angle to another seem a little bit more smoother and not so choppy. To access the transition menu, you'll notice up at the top where you once click titles, there's a little tab here that says transitions. And of course, you get this wide variety of different options, many of which don't really help or are used very well in this style of video that you're creating. I think probably the most famous ones are the first 4 that are available at the top. The dissolve, the cross blur, the fade to black, fade to white. And that's what I'm going to show you guys here on how to drag and drop. And it's actually quite simple. You select which one you want and simply drag that down in between the 2 clips that you would like the transition to happen in between. Now, there's something very interesting about transitions that you need to be aware of. You can change the time, as you can see on the screen right now. This transition is set to taking 1 second. You can change the time for how that is affected by simply double-clicking the little icon and typing the time that you would like it to go towards in seconds and then clicking apply. But something that you have to be aware of is you have to have enough time after your footage and before your footage for this actually to work. So if you have a video clip that isn't, in this case, 15 seconds, the transition won't take 15 seconds to dissolve into the next one because it has to pull from the material somewhere. So in this case, oh, I'm getting an error message. Yep, there it is. There's the error message. It doesn't have enough time. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it at 1 second. But if I wanted this to go a little bit longer, I could do that just by simply double clicking and changing the time. But as it shows up on the screen, I only have 2 seconds of a clip before and about a second and a half for the clip after. So dragging and dropping these transitions really isn't that big of a deal. You know, and like I said, I don't think you're going to need to use a lot of these. I think, you know, it's probably a good idea once you add a transition to kind of watch and take a look at what that looks like as you play through your clip. If that's something you want to have in there, then you can keep it. If it's something that you want, you know, to go away or get rid of, you can simply click on it and press delete. Now, of course, adding audio to your video project is a necessity. I think once you are able to locate any type of sound clips that can go along enhancing the information or just the video watching experience, it's absolutely something that you want to try and gravitate to. The issue that most of you guys are going to run into is just finding quality samples of music, and I've given you guys a couple different links and a variety of different tools that are out there. You can find free clips all over the place. And to add the video, you're going to add, I'm sorry, not video, to add the audio, you're going to do this the exact same way that you would add video clips. You can simply click or import your files through the import tab. I've got that right here, and actually I have 2 audio clips that I want to bring in just to show you guys the power of selecting music that kind of accompanies the tone of the video that you're making. One audio clip is a really nice, soft, kind of dreamy style music, and the other one is absolutely inappropriate. It's much more dramatic, probably built for like a suspenseful video take or tone. And you can see that both of the sound, while they're both sound clips, one works a little bit better than the other. Now, when it comes to adding in music, you always have a preview directly above it, so I can play this clip real quick. And as you can hear, that's pretty ominous and kind of scary and dramatic, whereas the other clip here, it's a little bit more upbeat and it's kind of following the video footage that I've got. So I'm simply going to drag and drop that audio clip in and place it directly underneath my video that's playing. Now, something that's interesting to see here is when you do start to add audio, you'll notice instead of seeing a video preview of anything, you just sort of get this time layout bar. And this basically is a depiction as to the volume and how loud it is, showing at certain various points in your video. Something that's kind of important to understand is depending on how long your music is, you might run into a section or an area here, like at this moment in my video clip, where I have people talking. I don't necessarily want the background music to be playing over them. So the easiest way to adjust this is by actually selecting the audio clip and then 2-finger clicking and selecting the trim to playhead option. And what this does, zoom in there, trim to playhead, there we go. What this does is it trims right to the front, and then we can move our audio clip back and forth or reformat, there we go, reformat all that information. Now I still want audio playing underneath him. I just want to be able to independently change the volume of that. So I'll drag another copy of sound in, but this time I'm going to shorten it down to just when he's on screen. If I hover my mouse over, you'll see there's like a horizontal white line that as I click and drag down and click and drag up, a percentage number changes. And this is just telling me exactly how much percentage they're either taking away or how much they're adding to the overall volume. And whenever I have someone talking, I think I like to usually drop it down to around the 30% range, just so that you can still hear the music, but you can also hear the talking or the audio. And I think that's something that's kind of important for most of us to kind of have in our clip. Now, if I give you guys a quick sample of this, you'll notice there is a little awkward transition between the two video clips with the music that's playing. Let me show you.
Good morning, Philippines.
Guess what we're gonna go to again.
So I don't know if you guys caught it, but as soon as my video clip starts with the guy talking, my audio just kind of drops right out, and it's very hard to hear anything. And this is okay if you have an audio clip that's kind of got lots of ebbs and flows in it and the volume's all over the place. But to make this transition a little bit easier, you can click and drag exactly how fast the volume cuts out. This is called ducking. I can click and drag at what point I want this to start to fade out. And I can click and drag exactly what point I want this to fade in. The problem is you probably don't want the volume clip here that's already set to about 30% to fade in because it's already at 30%. But if I leave this ducking here, fading out and around the portion when he's swimming up snorkeling, you'll notice that the transition of the sound kind of follows up with the transition of the video screen.
Good morning, Philippines.
Guess what we're gonna go to again. Snorkel!
And that's a little low. I could kind of go back and maybe add a little bit more percentage to this till I find a really good tone that's there. But I wanted to show you guys the difference between choosing appropriate audio and inappropriate audio. Here I've got a little bit more dramatic of a sound clip, and I'm just going to drag this to play immediately after he starts talking. And as you watch this, you'll notice that the overall tone of the video kind of changes a little bit, and it doesn't necessarily give the same meaning or have the same feeling as you watch this. Take a look.
Good morning, Philippines.
Guess what we're gonna go to again. Snorkel!
So today is day one in El Nido, and this is one of the places when you put in Philippines in Google or in YouTube, you're just gonna see a bunch of videos and pictures of blue water, big rocks and stuff. That's where we are.
Wow, that's pretty intense here for a happy documentary, at least video that shows people having a really good time. So what I really want to try to stress here is as you guys play around with finding video clips and finding audio clips to kind of have running in the background as people are talking or giving their interviews, or you have B-roll playing, it's kind of important to understand what your overall tone is that you're trying to go for and the message that you're trying to send, because the audio can completely change the emotion and the feeling of the clip that you're making. So once you've added your audio, you played around with some transitions and added some title cards, it's time to start exporting your footage. It's time to put the last final touch and make this an actual video clip that people can click on and enjoy and watch and comment for in regards to our course. And again, if you already know how to do this, you can go ahead and skip, but we're going to run through it anyways. At the very top right-hand corner of the iMovie window, you have the share icon or share button. And if you click on that, you can see that through iMovie, you have a variety of different options that allow you to send your video out to various services like Facebook, Vimeo, or YouTube. Or you can just share it locally to the storage drive, the hard drive on your own computer. This is something that I've kind of taught you guys in the past, as it kind of gives you a variety of different options and places that you want to go. However, if you do have a YouTube video, or I'm sorry, a YouTube channel, or you have another account or a video service, you can kind of choose those options. It's not necessarily something I like to do, but you can choose that. Anyways, of course, the exporting process is fairly simple. You go ahead and click the option, and you're going to be given some text boxes here to go in and type. I think it's probably ideal to just keep your title pretty simple. Now, description-wise and tags, these don't necessarily have much to do with anything if you're saving your documentary or you're exporting it as a local file to your computer. But if you are sharing it to a video sharing service like YouTube or Vimeo or, well, really any video sharing service, the description is going to come in really handy because that's going to be imprinted along with your post on that website. Don't change the resolution or the quality of your video. The same goes with your compression rate. And of course, you're going to go ahead and click Next, and it will bring up, if you are exporting to a local file, exactly where on the computer you would like to save this. Now, I usually always save my things to the desktop because it makes it a little bit easier for me to go out and find that clip. And be able to locate it so that I can load it wherever I need to load it or copy and paste a link. But you guys can save these files wherever you feel comfortable saving those files. And then when we return from the actual exporting process, which I'll just go ahead and click Save, I'll show you guys how to post the link to the Google Classroom. So you've successfully exported your video, that is your video file. And it's either sitting locally on your desktop hard drive for the laptop that you're working on right now, or in a USB jump drive, or possibly it's being hosted right now on a video service like YouTube. To get your documentary located or uploaded to your Spark page Learning Journal, obviously you're going to need to go and log in to Adobe Spark.com using the credentials that we've already kind of established. And then, of course, you want to access your Learning Journal. I just made up a really brief, quick one where I've added in some shots, some photographs, typed out just a little bit of text here where I'd probably go back and revisit some things to discuss my experience in creating this documentary. But towards the end right here is an area where I want to go in and lay out my place, an area for my actual 60-second documentary on the Philippines. So I can go in here and add a little header and maybe change the formatting just a little bit, make it bold. And then by clicking the plus button, obviously you can see that there is a video option for you to go ahead and go along and add. When you click on that option, you'll notice that this takes you straight to simply adding an embedded video, meaning you need to have your video already on a website service for it to go and pull the information from. And since I saved my video locally to my hard drive, or that is the computer that I was working on, I figured I'd go over the steps to show you how to upload that to a common video hosting page like YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that and open up my other tab. Now I've already logged in to my YouTube channel, and I've clicked up in the top little corner up here the Add Video button. And all I'm going to do is go click on Select File and tell the computer exactly where my documentary is. There it is, Philippines 60-second.mp4. And I'll go ahead and upload that up. Now, YouTube has had some incredible changes over the course of the last few months. These are all things that you guys are going to have to be very, very aware of. Of course, obviously, you have the area here to be able to go in and type out the title of your video. And of course, you have the area here that will talk about the description of the video. And if you decided to log into your YouTube account through iMovie when you're exporting, this stuff will all actually be filled out and actually already have been done. But since I didn't do that, I have to kind of go in and change some stuff here. Now, obviously, there's going to be some things down here that you want to pay a little bit attention to. And really what I'm pointing your attention to is the audience tab. Over the course of the last few months, YouTube has gone through a very strict change in its data collection when it comes to content geared towards children. This is something that you want to just be aware of when making your video. If the content that you have is okay for children, then of course, yes, you can click the button that says, yes, it's made for kids. If it isn't, then you're going to go ahead and say, no, it's not made for kids. The age restriction here isn't necessarily something you need to worry about, especially with the content that you guys are creating. But I do want to explain to you guys that this is kind of important, because if you have a video that you say is made for kids, and it comes to find out that the content isn't, it's deemed inappropriate, or it gets reported, or YouTube finds out that it's there, they will take the link down and you won't have your video being hosted anymore. So it's something that you got to be very careful about when clicking these links, just to make sure that everything is ready to go. Now, the other option up here that you want to pay a little bit attention to is the visibility tab. And this makes sure that everyone can actually see the video that you're going to be posting on YouTube. Of course, publish now, unlisted, and private are the three options that you have. I prefer for an assignment like this to click unlisted, because as you can see by the description below, it'll say anyone with the video link can see your video. If you don't have the video link, or you're not embedding the video, then nobody can see it. If you make it public, then obviously everyone can see it. And if you make it private, nobody can see it unless you give them power to see it. In the case that you guys are getting graded on this for your midterm project, it's probably a really good idea to just make sure that you click the unlisted tab right here. Now, you don't necessarily have to worry about the schedule tab, as you're not worrying about making this go online at a certain time. But for our weekly videos, this is the area where I would come in and make sure that it's set for a specific date and a specific time frame, so that I don't have to worry about it. It'll just go live when the clock or calendar turns to its appropriate date. Now, as everything is all done, it also gives another warning. Hey, just double check, is all this makes sense? And you can go ahead. Oh, I don't want it to be scheduled for a specific time. Just go ahead and publish it. Yikes. Did not want to do that. So there we go. Publish now. Perfect. I'm going to click the done button, and this will take a little bit of time. Obviously, now I have some options here to embed, post to Facebook, Twitter, Blogger, Reddit, Tumblr. Unfortunately, Spark isn't here, but it probably will be in the future. But as you can see, the video link is right there. I can go ahead and press the copy tab, and then just go back over to my Spark webpage and input this information underneath where it says where's the link at. So here you see now my video is loaded into my Spark. We'll double check that, click the play button here. Oh, now this may happen as the video is being uploaded to YouTube, which it actually still is. My video hasn't fully gone all the way up there. So it might be a little difficult to go ahead and press the play button and actually watch it live as the video is being loaded up to YouTube. But from here, everything looks pretty good to go and submit. To go ahead and share this webpage link, of course, obviously we need to publish it. You can go ahead and change the title if need be, and throw it into a category if you want. If you would like to have the author credentials there, that's fine as well. Considering that you guys are going to be turning this into, copying and pasting the link to our Google Classroom website that is facilitating this project. This isn't really necessarily something that needs to be there. But down here you have the Get Noticed radial button that obviously tells you that your project may be featured on an Adobe Spark website. You can toggle that on or off if you wish. Toggling it off just means Adobe Spark can't use or won't use your project that you just made when advertising or giving ideas to other people. Once you've satisfied all those different options, you can go ahead and click Create Link, and obviously you are now supplied with the website link where all of your information's at. You can go ahead and click on Google Classroom and sync this or hook this up to your Google Classroom account and post the link, or you can simply just copy the link and go back to Google Classroom and paste that right into the assignment. Guys, I hope this tutorial helped you guys out through week 2, and I look forward to seeing all the videos that you guys created as we work through the first semester here in Digital Multimedia 3-4. Thanks.